Go.
Yes, another week, another episode of Stand Up Explained. I am one of your hosts, Brant Tobler,
And I am Andrew Slater.
in the beautiful golden hour of Palm Springs.
The
I mean,
golden.
we might have said don't be a comic, it doesn't pay much, but you look like you're living good right now.
Yeah. I like it. All you have to do is paint your room gold and you can look like a millionaire.
I mean, you look great, man. You look
That's a
good.
whole nother podcast. That's my other how-to videos, how to convince people on Zoom that you're rich. Just
Well,
paint your background gold.
you did a good job today. You look very rich. Today we are going to talk about should you put your material on the internet?
Ooh.
This is another question I get a lot, and I've I've changed my thoughts over the years. Do you have an opening thought on this?
Yeah, well, I think I've changed my thoughts on this too over the years, but then also like both of us have been doing comedy long enough where it's like just the world has changed and maybe the answer has changed, like I think when I started for sure people would have said no, because you want to save it. This is the idea of like saving your best stuff for television,
Yeah,
like everybody was like, okay, you get your hot 5 to 6 minutes, and then you run it, and then you try to find somebody who will put it on TV. That was like the whole system, and that like system is like extinct.
yeah,
I mean, it still exists. People still get on TV, but the idea of saving it doesn't make any sense.
yeah. No, I agree. I remember thinking, I can't put it on the internet. Someone will steal it. I was so worried about people
Right.
stealing it in the beginning, which in hindsight,
Now it's the
looking back,
opposite, right?
yeah,
If you don't want someone to steal your bit, just get it on the internet time stamped first.
yeah.
You need the proof.
Yeah, as I was saying that, I was like, it's so backwards. It's like that thing where they always tell you to mail your idea to yourself or some dumb thing, and you have the stamp or something. The
Right.
internet, you have it. So if you post it in June and someone tells that joke in September, you're going to win every internet argument for you have the evidence.
For sure. And like I don't know what this idea of saving material, it's like, you know, it works for a couple things. It's like, well, I don't want to put it on the internet because then uh the Tonight Show or something will see it and then they don't. That's like not how it works. Like no
Yeah,
no television booker has ever been like, oh, this bit's already on YouTube. Okay, we're gonna pass. It's like no, they don't care if it's on YouTube or on your Facebook or whatever. They'd still put it on. And then secondly, you would save it because you're like, well, I don't want people coming to shows who've already seen that joke. But that's so stupid too because 99.99999% of people who see you at a live show are not going to watch all your stuff on YouTube. And if they do, they'll probably like be fine to see it again.
but yeah, see, I had the same thoughts. Exactly what you said is like, I don't want to do it. So then when I come to the show, then they won't want to see it. But it's the exact opposite. It's like going to see your favorite band. Now, if I don't do something they say on the internet, they're like, hey, why didn't you do that bit? That's the one I
Right.
showed my friends. We came to see that bit. And I was like, yeah. And then another thing is like, I've gotten people to come to shows just from seeing, looking me up. So if they see, I mean, countless times people have been like, we didn't know who you were. So we looked you up on the website and we watched a couple of your videos. You look pretty, you're pretty funny. So we came to the show. I was like, that's great.
Right. And like I remember one time I did this room where I think it was like the host or the booker and the host, he was like, he booked me and then I didn't send him a tape, but he went and watched stuff off of YouTube and stuff. Then he watched my set, and then afterward he's like, oh, I wanted you to do this bit, and it's this old joke, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, but he seemed like legitimately mad I didn't do this joke that he watched, and like he had me come back out to do it. He's like, okay, come on, I want you to do this. So I came back out and I just butchered my own joke because I hadn't told it in like 6 years, but he went like really deep on YouTube. So yeah, sometimes people get like mad if they, like you said, if they don't see what they're
Wait,
doing.
that's so you came back out like a
Yeah, do
encore.
you remember this bit I did? It was like 1,000%. Like if the higher you go over 100%, the more you're lying, right? So if you say like I'm 110% sure I locked the door,
Uh-huh.
then you probably didn't. If you were
Yeah.
100% sure, you probably did. If you're 110%, then people are like, I'm 1,000,000% sure I did not get her pregnant. It's like, okay, it's twins. It was something like, I don't even remember if but the bit was something like that. But I totally butchered it. I did it better just now, actually, than I did it.
That's funny.
But yeah.
Actually, I've had that happen before too. I saw a band. I was hanging out with a band before a show, and I asked the guy, "Hey, can you play this song? It's my favorite song you've ever wrote." And he goes, "You know what? I'd love to play it for you, but I just don't think I remember it." And I was like, "All right. I mean, cool. I can't really argue with it, but."
So then, I guess what we're saying is those shouldn't be reasons not to put your material on the internet. This idea of saving it for the perfect moment is not a reason. This idea that you don't want audience members to see it twice or something, that's not a reason. And yeah, like the worst case scenario, it would blow up and get 5 million views and people are sick of it. Okay, well, that's a good problem to have, you know?
I mean, there is that just in this world. It could blow up. I mean, it's a legendary story in the comedy world about Angela Johnson's nail bit that changed her whole life, that took her from doing side rooms at comedy clubs to selling out theaters from one YouTube bit. Now, I mean, that's going to be a rarity, but
right. But she doesn't regret, like, yeah, I can never do my nail salon bit anymore.
Yeah,
because everybody saw it on YouTube. I wish I had never put it on, you know. But then I think there are reasons though to not put stuff online, and it's mostly if like the bit itself is too new. I've made this mistake before where like I really like a joke and I've been doing it for like a few weeks, and then I have it in a set and I put it on Instagram or something. But then it's like over the next few weeks it gets better and better and better and better. And then I kind of regretted putting it up when I did, because it's like, oh man, I have so many more tags, it's so much more polished. I wish I'd waited a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to give it like at least a couple months of telling it before you put it up.
I think
oh, go ahead.
Okay, so I was gonna say, just thinking about my process, I think I tend to put up the joke when I'm closer to being finished with the joke in some weird way, like done telling it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Like
totally. I think I'm much more comfortable, because I think what you just said is true, where there is nothing worse than putting something out and it'll do pretty good and you're proud of it, but then knowing it's way better a month later, but you don't want to release the same joke with like 3 different tags. You wish you would have just done it all at once.
I know. And so I think that, that's a great point. Like, just give it time to like germinate and give it time to grow into whatever it's going to be. I try to tell myself that now, because there's a lot of pressure, especially now. There's tons of pressure to just fill the content factory. Like, okay, I need new stuff on Instagram stories, or if you're doing like TikToks, or you're trying to get your YouTube page going or something. Like, there's always a hole to fill with content. If you're a comic, you just want it to be your stand-up, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay, let me just ask you that real quick. You could put too much on, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I
because there is a few comics I'm like, another, like, because first of all, I don't really think stand-up does very good online anyway. You know what I mean? Like watching,
I mean,
I feel like
it does.
Well, that is,
I don't know.
Okay, I should say, I don't think my stand-up does very good when I put it online. But I always feel like if I put it into a cartoon form, it would get 10 million views and shit.
But that's what I mean about not being like, I think we do overthink it a little bit. I know I do this too, right? I'm too precious about it, and I'm like, well, I'll save it, as if everybody who ever stumbles across it is like seeing all your shit every time for the first, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I saw Brant posted this same joke 17 months ago. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's paying it that close attention. You know?
No, well, I'll tell you what it is. Everyone's going to know the first 45 seconds of a lot of your jokes. Right. And then they're not going to listen and watch the whole video.
So the whole point of posting stuff is to like try to gain a couple new people. In my head, it's like, okay, I just need to like try to have this breakout of the regular sort of circle. And even if you can attract one, and plus it's on there to be, like you said, to be discovered later too, if someone starts Googling you to see if they should go to your show or not.
Yeah.
But then like, to me, the number one reason not to put something online is if the quality sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you know like how good the quality should be? Like, what do you watch? You know, what, when you're scrolling on Instagram or YouTube, like, what do you stop on and watch? I guarantee you it's not those grainy videos from the back of the room with bad sound, and you just look, the person just looks like a ghost on stage. Like those, it could be the best jokes in the world, nobody is watching.
Yeah.
And then you are kind of like, you're going to just be defeatist if you post like your best joke but it's bad quality and nobody likes it. You're going to be like, what the you know,
Yeah.
what is wrong with
Yeah.
you? But it's like,
Yeah,
probably just the quality.
You wouldn't post an ugly picture of your girlfriend if you had a new girlfriend.
If you did, she wouldn't be your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
grounds for
something that you've done, and I think it's a changing thing, because I know my girlfriend, she watches all videos with no sound, and
Right.
putting like the way you transcript all your videos. I think, have you noticed that that's giving you more?
They for sure do better. They do better. People will give them a chance. And like I started doing that because I saw other comedians doing it, and then I read something where they were like 70% of videos get watched when they're watched on phones with no audio, and it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't have your earphones in, you're not gonna like be on the plane and just turn your volume up.
Well, please don't be that person.
Yeah, don't be that person. Especially to watch our stand-up. Like,
Yeah.
if it's like Chris Rock or something, maybe, but I don't know. But like, yeah, so I read that and I was like, it blew my mind. Like, so, and then I was like, well, what do? I was thinking about myself, and I never have my phone. I don't just like wear the AirPods all the time. And when I'm watching videos on my phone, I never have the sound on. And I'm way more likely to watch somebody's video if it has captions, you know?
Uh-huh.
So just like upping the quality in as any way you can, and trying to get it formatted for the right. I mean, there's a lot of, that's like maybe a whole nother topic, but
yeah,
quality is like big, you know?
Yeah. So this is a good chance to go watch Andrew's videos, because I think what you do is you've done a good job with the captioning and the quality, and you could tell. I mean, if you're in the stand-up world, you should kind of know who's doing good right now. And if you go watch their videos, they'll give you an idea of what, like Andrew Schultz, I thought kind of is really doing good stuff. Now, some of it is going to be out of your budget production, but for instance, with your captioning your videos, how much, you don't do that yourself, you pay somebody, right?
Yeah, I'll pay. I pay a person. Oh, I forget her name right now, but I never met her in person, but she was recommended to me from another comic, and it's for like a 2-minute video, it might be like 15, 20, $25, something like that.
Yeah,
and,
a good investment.
Yeah, easy. And it does cost money. You can do it yourself. I mean, there's websites you can do it for free. It's just time consuming, and it just takes me. I'm not great with technology, so it takes me longer than it should. But
I think it's worth it though.
It's worth it because, especially if it's like we said, like, okay, there's a kind of a finite amount of material, right? Like, there's only so much good stand-up you're going to have on tape. Even if you have like 3 hours of material, how much of that stuff is filmed, looks great, sounds great? And even, okay, so let's say it's 3 hours. Well, that's still only so many clips, right? So you don't want to waste any clips.
Yeah.
You want to just do them as good as you can, I'd say.
That just made me think of something else too, because a lot of festivals are so popular now. When you submit for a festival, you don't want to make it hard for the booker to. You need to just put your material online and make it easy for whoever books the festival to just bring up your YouTube link and watch it. The more I know with the young comics here in Denver, they think the festivals are the greatest thing in the world, and I'm not saying they're not, but they are I think they are important when you're starting out. But for me, if I was booking a festival and you made it hard for me to watch your videos, I'd be like, I'm out. So,
well, and that's true too, because like, just because you're submitting a video for a festival doesn't mean that's the only one they're going to watch, right?
Yeah.
Because they might go, wait, I never heard of Brant Tobler. Okay, that was a funny video, and then they'll Google you, and if they can't find anything online, it's just way less likely they're going to, or if what they do find is like really grainy and ugly and you know. But then if they Google you and find all these like good looking other funny stand-up clips, I think that does help your odds. And also, if you're posting a lot of good, high quality, funny stand-up online, you're gonna have more followers and stuff, and that's for sure helps your chances in every aspect of comedy.
Yeah.
You know, whether I mean, that's just the truth, right?
I mean,
again, we get back to it every time, right? But like, if you have a following, you can basically do whatever you want in this business. So
yeah, I mean, that's a great point, and it's an awful point, but a lot of times people, I mean, we've kind of got into a separate thing about festival here, but your video quality, if it's good, the booker, when they bring up your video, they're half inclined to just look how numbers wise it's done rather than even watch it anyway.
Right.
I mean, you just want.
Well, like, okay, so these I was working on these videos for like paid. So Facebook allows you to like pay to promote like a ticket link or something, and you can attach a video to it, right? And there's this comedy, Andrew Rivers, but he taught me this. It's like, he was saying how you don't just use what you think your funniest clip is. You use the one that has the most views.
Yeah.
Because then people are going to go, oh, this clip has 1 million views. I'm going to go see this guy. Like, they're not even, if people are followers, you know, they're going to be like, oh, excited just because it has a ton of views.
Yeah. No, I do that. Well, I'm lucky This Is Not Happening has like 4 million views. And we have to submit for like corporate stuff in here. And they'll always be like, hey, do like a 5-minute video. And that video is 15, but I don't care because it's shot so well. And I know the numbers are on it.
Right.
And every time I send it in, they get memorized or mesmerized by, oh shit, this video's got 4 million. So whatever we want him to do, whatever video he makes for us will probably get to 4 million too, which is, it's never happened, but that's just a whole nother part.
So many other things go into it, but you just have to remember. I think this is a good rule of thumb for like everything in comedy, but so often you think of it through your own lens as a comic and you go, well, they should just care about the jokes in the video. It shouldn't matter what the quality is. It shouldn't matter how many views it has. It shouldn't matter how, you know, if it's popular with the people. They should just watch it and judge it to see if it's funny, right? But then you have to remember your own behavior. You have to think about what you do when you consume stand-up and stuff, and you look and see how many views or something. When you see a tweet, you see if a bunch of people have retweeted it already or not before you retweet it. You know, when you watch a video, if the quality sucks, you probably scroll. You're not waiting to hear the good punchline, you know? So,
well, you don't even watch it because nobody liked it in the first place.
Right.
So I agree with you that if you could just starting out, I think the goal would just be one really good video that you're proud of, shot well, and then let that hopefully I wish we could answer the question, how do we get a video to go viral or something? We don't know. And we can't help you with the numbers. I mean, we're going to talk about marketing and stuff in another episode and how to try to get your numbers up. But obviously, if we could skyrocket our numbers, we wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. We would be rich.
But you can't control, obviously, like you said, we literally cannot control whether our stuff is viral or whatever, but you can control how funny it is, right? You can control how often you put your stuff out there, and the more you do, the better chance you have. And then you can control how good it looks, you know?
Yeah.
And I think if you just focus on those three things, try to put it out semi-often, try to make it as funny as you can, of course, and then also make it look as good as possible. And that might cost a couple bucks, but it's like, in the long run, I wish I would have done this so long ago, but like paid a cameraman or a sound guy. Even everybody knows in every scene, there's going to be somebody with a really nice camera who's just getting started, you know, doing filmography or whatever. And they're looking to $50 and get their name out there or whatever. And it's nine times out of 10, it's totally worth it to have somebody help you out with that kind of stuff.
Well, just post a Craigslist ad like that. Say, hey, here's what I would do is just post a Craigslist ad. Hey, I'm looking to somebody to shoot my stand-up. Because first of all, people are mesmerized by stand-up anyway. That's way more fun to shoot than you're going to just have a lot of people interested. And then I'd say, hey, I think I'd love to have you do this. This is my budget between 50 and 100. I have you shoot this show. But I think if we make a good video, we could probably get 10 or 15 comics to do this. And I think that's a real thing. If I know when we were starting out, if one person, I'll tell you this, we got taken advantage of starting out when someone did do this. And I think I paid for my first video. I paid, I think, $350 for a video on a 10-minute set on a disc because it was the promise of all this high tech camera, and
Right, right.
which times have changed now. I bought a camera for the studio, had my buddy Ian come over to help me set up to film. And he set everything up and he goes, to be honest, that iPhone sitting on your desk is way better than this $700 camera you bought. And that's so you don't really have an excuse anymore. You can get it. Or, I mean, especially coming out of this.
Yeah. The point is to ask for help. Ask somebody who knows what they're doing. Cause probably most comics don't. I know I don't know any of that stuff. I don't know how to make it look good or sound good. So when I have a set and I think it's going to be a show that's going to be worth having on tape, I'll use the research. It's worth it to me now, especially in this world where there's so much currency in having stuff online. Like it is very much worth it to have like as much good of your good stand-up on tape as possible. And it's only valuable if it's high quality. There's really no value other than for your own listening back to having stuff low quality tape. It's good for your own, like, watching film, getting better, but low quality stuff you just don't need to put on the internet.
I'd invest in yourself, get that good camera, and then maybe something crazy will happen one night when you're on stage too, and that can change your life. You'll get a video of that.
Film as often as you can anyway. I mean, even if it's just your phone in the back of the room and it's not going to be good enough to post, but like you said, you never know what's going to happen, and maybe it will be worth it. But like I would say, take the shots every once in a while and pay a little money and get somebody really good in with a fancy camera, and it'll be worth it.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing because I have this young comics ask me this a lot about should I do it? I go, yeah, because you're building a fan base anyway. And when you start as a comic, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, is that your hobby? Or you do this little thing. It's a good fuck you sometimes to just jam a nice ass video right on Facebook and be like, oh, I know you talk down to me. You think I'm just goofing off, and you post a video crushing. And then you also let your fans have that first connection with you. And then let's say you put out another video 6 months later, then they see that you've grown. They've seen that you've got better. And then I think they're more inclined to want to grow with you and be like, oh, this isn't his little thing. He's working his ass off. He's actually pretty good. Oh, he's getting better. I'm going to go to a show. This isn't some goofy little thing he's doing. And that's what I loved about it is the first couple, when I did finally have good videos, and it took me 4 or 5 years to get good videos because I didn't spend the money, or really, technology wasn't what it is. But it definitely did help my fan base a little more because people were like, oh, this is a real good thing. He's actually investing in this. This is good quality. Right. I'm going to come to a show. I'm going to come. And then when I got the second one, it was nice to see in the comments like, oh man, you're getting better. This is really good. So I think, as we said, every time building your fan base, it'll start to build your fan base. But if I put up shit ones, they'd be like, oh, this is a shitty video of you're just goofing around in a bar one night. And plus, that's not going to build your fan base.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing I'd say about it, I agree with all that. And then the last thing I would add was you want to make it easy for other people to like show you off to their friends.
Yeah.
So if they say, oh man, I saw this great comedian last night. His name's Rand Tobler. You got to see him. They're going to want to see a clip. Everybody's going to just, okay, show me a clip. Where's a clip? Let me see a clip. They're not going to go, oh no, just wait for another year and he'll come to town.
Yeah.
And you can see him. Yeah. They're not going to remember. But if they're able to just 2 seconds send a YouTube or Instagram or whatever to them, go watch this. Just watch this clip. Or they can just literally tag their name. Yeah. That happens in the comments. They'll just tag their name.
Yeah.
They'll watch it, and they might follow you for life after that. You never know. So
and it'll get you more followers and more numbers and all the other shit that we already talked about that people care about.
Make it easy on bookers to watch you. Make it easy on potential fans to watch you, and don't be precious about the material because it's good motivation to write more anyway. So put stuff out there. If it's finished, if it's good and it's finished, like I said, give it a few months before. I've made that mistake where I'm really excited. I just want to get the joke out there, and I almost always wish I'd waited a week or 2 more.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just and don't worry about people stealing it. That's I mean, I know that was my biggest fear in the beginning, but
Right.
that is so you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
it's we had it happen. So Jay Larson did a bit on Conan that was on the internet, and this guy came to an open mic in Vegas, and he had memorized Jay Larson's whole 5-minute bit, and he did it word for word. But we all recognized it and immediately said, "Hey man, you can't be doing that bit." And Jay reached out to him and like, if someone's stealing your stuff, they'll get outed. You don't.
Yeah.
No one's going to take your joke and then put it on the Tonight Show tomorrow. That's the least of your worries.
That whole problem almost always polices itself. Like you don't have to be vigilant about it. I don't think.
Yeah. If for those of you that listen to every episode we talk about building your fans. We so rarely worried about someone stealing your shit. So just remember, use this as a way to build fans. Put the material out there. Put out material you're proud of, what you think is good, and it's just cool. Another thing, it's cool to look back and it's sometimes cringeworthy or stuff, but I like looking back and go, oh God, this was my best 5 minutes 10 years ago, and well, first of all, it'd get me canceled today, but it's just a cool. Oh, that's what I wore on stage. That's how. I mean, I wore a backwards hat. I wore a Dixie Chick shirt. I thought these jokes were life changing. It was just kind of cool, the process of it.
One last thing about putting your stuff on the internet, like I don't know if this is as much of a problem now as it used to be, but I have so much stuff that I wish I'd had on my own. So I especially at early days of like YouTube TV or when that stuff was all really happening, I got people pay me $50 or whatever, and all of a sudden the set's on the internet and they chop it up 9 different times, and it gets all these views, but I really got nothing out of it, and at the very least get the high quality version of the tape, not just rip it off of YouTube or whatever, but get like the original file. Yeah. Everybody should be willing to give you that, and so that you, and then use it on your own platforms so you can be building your platform, because you don't want to be somebody who has like all these millions of views on YouTube, but then none of it's from your own page. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's the best point. You like we said, you need to really decide what you put up, but don't let anyone else put up your stuff. I mean, unless they're paying you, or if it's your home club. Now, for instance, Comedy Works, that's my home club. It's one of the best clubs in the country. They shoot everything in-house, and I'd have to have some balls to be like, I'm good. You can't put mine up. But there's so many bar shows I did when someone's filming or someone's filming the whole thing. Now, if I go to a show, and someone's filming, I'll go, hey, are you filming? And sometimes they'll be like, it's usually a young comic saying, oh, I'm just filming the whole show. No, I don't want that. Don't shoot me. You might come off as a dick, but I would tell people, do not shoot. They are, I would almost go the other way, where I'd say, okay, if you're going to film me, I want the file for myself. But what I want you to just don't post it on YouTube of me, right? But you send me the file, and then I'll decide whether I'll post it or not. Yeah, that's a easier way. But usually these people aren't. This is more of like an open mic thing, especially when I'm working out jokes and they're like, I'm just filming the whole show. I was like, I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but I would be really, because there's 4 or 5 videos of me on YouTube that I hate, I can never get to go away. I don't even think their accounts available or anything. So and they don't even exist anymore. They're just so if you go to a show and if you see someone with a good setup, okay, perfect example. If you see someone with a great setup and they're only going to film theirs, then you go, hey, I know you're just filming you. Maybe could I throw you like 50, 60, shoot my, I mean, I guess there is a good side to it too, but I just have had so many bad sides of like, it's just a shitty camera. I would just advise, keep all anything that goes on the internet, have it go through your channels, because if they like you, like obviously you said Comedy Works, and then, there's some other larger entities that will want to post your stuff, and especially if they're paying you, great. But you should be able to still get the original file for yourself and be able to, chop it up and get it out there. Yeah. Because it's still you and it's still your stuff. I have a Laugh Factory video, I think, that has like 500,000 views, but I don't think
but that's the thing. Those are ones you don't fight those battles. I would never. I'd rather have that exposure on Laugh
Yeah, but it
Factory.
wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe they would. I don't know. I never worked the Laugh Factory, so I don't know. But maybe they would fight you. Maybe they wouldn't. But I think it'd be worth asking, like, hey, can I get the original tape of this so I can chop this up myself?
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I just think it's worth it to have that
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely worth it, and it's definitely yeah, you want to just keep it. And some people are going to get pissed. I had a dude here that's like, hey, I'm doing a show, can I use your stuff during this pandemic? I was like, no. And he's like, why? Everybody else said I could. I go, because I'm putting out my own stuff during the pandemic.
Right.
That exact set you're going to put on your channel I'm going to put it on my channel. And he
Yeah.
he has a heckler video from one of his shows, and it has like 400,000 views. Well, okay, that's a different question. So I guess I still would want my own stuff always. If I had a video, so this is just a bar show and he shoots all the shows, and then one of the comics had a heckler thing, but that's still the comics video, right? I still would say, hey, I want that on my page.
Well, yeah, but then it's very difficult to translate, in my experience, to translate a viral video of yourself on someone else's page into actual followers on your own. So they're not like, for instance, these dry bar videos. I've done the dry bar thing, and a few of the clips get millions of views, and then they don't even tag you. I mean, they do like the bare minimum, but it's hard to get all those people who are commenting, oh, this guy's hilarious, to actually come over then to your own page and convert them into like, people who will come see you live, right? Because they don't go, oh, that comedian Andrew Slater is so famous. So they go, oh, these dry bar comedians are so funny, and they just, why would I go follow
just
him?
stay on
I
the
can just
page.
keep following this dry bar thing,
They just stay on the page that got them there, yeah.
So now that being said, would I go back in time and just not have done it? No, it's ultimately been a net positive for me, both the money and the exposure. But man, I sure wish I could figure out a way to like get first of all, I have those clips, right, that I can post myself. There's a little bit of contentiousness about that, but basically, at least I have it, right? And secondly, I try to do the work to get those people to come over. Like if they leave comments, I try to comment underneath and go, yeah, that, I have more stuff on my own page or whatever. It doesn't always work, but so that being said, so to get back to your point about that guy with 400,000 views and it's not him, I bet that person, that comic, wouldn't trade it. They would rather have the viral clip and not be on their own page. But I think they should have the right to have that video be posted on their own page too,
Yeah, I would, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you go to a show and you just want to do shows, like, you don't want to be a diva. You don't want to come and say, okay, I'm going to do a show, but take this video down. But I'm also like, I would like to be like, hey, if something magical happens.
Should post, just because they have the video, I don't think they should still be asking you before they post anything.
Well, you would hope, but most people, a lot of people don't. And I'm talking like, not comedy club wise, I'm talking like bar shows and that's when, but to me, for every one viral, there's 20 videos I just don't want out there. And I think people sometimes are like, they'll hit you with this, hey man, I'm just trying to get you exposure. Fuck your exposure. I don't want I want my exposure on my page where they could be exposed to more of me. It drives me crazy. I was dealing with a guy with it this week about, hey man, I'm just going to put you on this flyer. I was like, no, I'm good. I can't be a part of the show. He's like, you don't want the exposure? I was like, it's not even exposure. It's nothing. I want everything I do to go through my channels because that's where they can find more of me and be exposed to me. You want exposure to your site and you're calling it exposure for me.
Right. I think just like a general sort of baseline is like, try to get as much good video as you can of like quality stuff and have the files for yourself. That might cost you a little money, but it's worth it. Post stuff through your own channels, and then be judicious about who you give permission to post stuff third party wise, and don't just mindlessly go, all exposure is good exposure. Whatever happens, throw it up there. Because we both have a lot of sets we wish we could like pull back.
And that was my mentality. That was my old mentality. Who cares?
Yeah,
Just
me
put
too.
it up there.
Me too. I
If
was like,
anybody sees
more
me,
out there, better.
yeah. If anybody sees me, that's great. And
Yeah.
I disagree. It's like,
Yeah. Plus, a lot of times you're making that decision before the set.
yeah,
You have to tell them, yeah, you can use this, and then you go up, and it's awful, and you go, I would like to change my mind, but it's too late. They're like, no, we're putting it up. So, yeah.
Well, that's a good thing too. Maybe you just go when someone asks you that, hey, do you mind if I shoot this? I'll let you know after. If it goes great, I mean, you could shoot it.
I know,
but
that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, but I've never done that in my whole entire life. I've always just said, trying to be nice and not be a diva. I always just say yes. But I think there's a little funny in it too. Like, hey, let me see how it goes. If it's great, I'd love for you to post it, or you could send it to me. But if it's bomb, obviously I don't want. You're not going to get views off me bombing. That's for sure.
And you don't have to sign every contract people put in front of you in a green room. Like, I can't tell you how many times like someone's giving me some shady piece of paper. Here, just sign this, and here's your $25, and then we can use this footage. Like, you don't have to sign everything. You could just not sign it and go do your set and see what happens. That works too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, people, I can't tell you how many things I've signed mindlessly, not even reading stuff. And I was so stupid.
100. Well, I remember when we were in Cabo and we were shooting for that stand-up delivery.
Oh, yeah, thing. That Nuvo TV.
And we were just drunk guys in Cabo. We couldn't sign that shit fast enough because I think we got extra $500. But then like the established comics were like, what is all this shit? And I was like,
they were like crossing things out of the contract and like sending it to their lawyers, and me and you were just like, whatever.
We just signed them so fast. We wanted that $500, but I'll never forget that. I think it was Kira that was just like you said, they were just marking shit off in the middle of the contract. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. She's like, no, not this part. I was like, and then that's why they got the good stuff online that we don't.
Yeah.
I did that.
We're learning. We learned.
I mean, I did that set drunk as shit in Cabo.
Right.
With no crowd.
It was not ideal. Turns out having a comedy festival in a Spanish-speaking country in a resort town where nobody wants to go see comedy
in the middle of the day.
Best idea. In the middle of the day. At Cabo Wabo, or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Andy
so
Hagar's restaurant.
I'm glad you added that too. You can always say no, man. I wish I would have said no a lot more times, and it might cost you $25 or something, or you can just, you can always just lie. Go, hey, I'm going to film, and you can just go, you know what? I'd rather you did. And I had a really bad experience. Someone filmed, and I would it's better than having bullshit. Cause I'm just fighting that fact of like in the moment, you don't want to seem like a high maintenance, especially if you're a young comic. You don't want to be that dude in the green room when everyone's like, oh yeah. And then you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, but you got to get over that. And cause it gets back to what we were talking about earlier, right? It's like, you just want to have control over the quality.
Mm-hmm.
And when people put your name in on Google or YouTube, you want the first things to pop up are like high quality, good, funny clips of yours.
Yeah.
You don't want, because I had that for a long. Now I'm okay with what happens when you type my name into the internet. But for a long time, I was like, oh my God, this is the first thing that pops up from some comedy time, funny, show, Ice House thing that from 10 years ago that they gave me $20 and now they, you know what I mean? It has 1 million views and I'm never touching it. It's like,
yeah.
So,
well, yeah, it just made me think of like your online should be like, if you're on a dating site, you would never just be like, I'm going to sign up for this dating site. And then whatever pictures are on the internet work, whatever bio you have for me,
right.
Let's just see if anybody likes me.
And you wouldn't let
you put your best pictures up.
You wouldn't let the dating site just randomly assign pictures from your own phone.
Yeah. Like, or from someone else's phone or any phone.
You're going to want final say on what shows up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So in conclusion, I'd put it up. I wouldn't get over that thing. No one's going to steal your stuff. Put up the best stuff. Let's continue to try to build this fan base, and then use your best videos to get yourself in festivals and stuff like that. And don't be scared to put it up. I think when you're early, you're so scared of that. Just put the best shit you got up there and be proud of what you did and let the world see that you're working your ass off to be a comedian. And I think it's great.
Yep. You said it good.
So that's it for this one. Hey, do us a favor. Just like these videos we're talking about, the podcast spreads with word of mouth. So if you're enjoying this, tell another comic, tell somebody you like comedy. Help us do this because we're doing it for you guys for free. So if you don't mind, just tell one person to watch it and subscribe, rate, review. And we're just going to keep doing them because we love talking comedy, and I hope it helps. I know when I was starting out, I wish two has-beens like us would give us give us an update on all the mistakes they made. But we hope you're having fun. If you have any questions for us, leave it in the comments. We've gotten all your questions so far, and we're either doing those episodes. Those episodes will be coming. So we hope you guys are having fun. I know I'm enjoying it. I love talking to you. This is what we used to do every day of our life on our hike. So this is even more fun to do it on the internet. So
less heavy breathing.
Yeah. All right. Well, Andrew, you stay good in that golden room. We'll sign off from here. I'm Brant Tobler.
I'm Andrew Slater.
See you next week.
See you.